Hello. Hi, Harold.
Hi, Mario.
You cold?
Yeah, it was weird. It was so warm in the afternoon, and then it just
Yeah,
dropped. Crazy.
yeah.
It's better than being back east.
I assume. I think so.
Yeah, I spoke to someone. He was up in the mountains last week in New York. It was -8.
Oh, you right.
That's not pleasant.
Well, he just says it's raining and snowing every
Oh,
day.
yeah.
Hello,
Has he been
Remy.
traveling at all?
Good evening, everybody.
Has
Sorry?
he been traveling anywhere?
Problem? Oh, traveling now.
No.
No, he canceled his trip to Uruguay like he always goes because
Oh,
COVID is very high there now.
oh, in Uruguay?
Hmm.
Oh, that's too bad.
We're on Chaf Aleph 21, Moed Katan. So the Gemara said you have to do Kriya standing up because the pasuk in Iyuv said Vayakam Iyuv Vayikrat Meilo. Iyuv stood up and they did Kriya. Well, says the Gemara Lameata ve'omad ve'omar lo chafatzti lekachta. When a yibum is going to take place, or he wants to do chlitza, it says he should stand and say. So hachanami that chlitza can only be done standing. V'hatanya ben Yoshe ben Noemi ben Muta. You could do chlitza whether you sit, whether you stand, whether you lean. So Amarle Hasam look see vayamod vayomar. It just gave a past tense. See vayokam vayikra. Rabbi Bachama asks another source. How do we know that the chiyuv of kriya has to be done standing? Shenema vayakam iyu vayikra. So the Gemara says, Dilma Milsi say Rasahu David. Maybe he stood, but it's not like he required to stand. The ilo temahachi vayagas is rosho hachanami. He also shaved his head. Does that mean every Avil has to shave his head? No. Elamehacha. By David HaMelech, it says Vayakam HaMelech Vayikras Begadam. When David and Bathsheba lost a child, he tore kriya. He stood up. So ask the Gemara V'Dilam Milsi Yisei Lasa Avid. Maybe he also did something extra, but not necessarily that it's required. The Ilo Temahachi Vayishkav Artzachanami. It says he lied on the ground. An Avel can be Yoshev al Gabi Mita. He can sit on a low bed, al Gabi Kisei, on a chair, al Gabi Udnik Doila. Some kind of grinder, al Gabi Karka. Mikulan lo Yotze de Chavaso. He still hasn't been Yotze his chiyuv because Amrav Yochanan Shalokim Kviyasamita. He has to overturn his bed. But you see that there is no special chiyuv to lie on the ground. Amrlek Ke'ein Artsa. He doesn't have to, he didn't lie on the ground, he overturned his bed and made it lower. So he did ka'alacha. And therefore you can learn from David HaMelech that kriya should be done mu'umid. That's in fact how kriya is done with people standing. Ton Rabbanon. Elu dvorim she'avel aser bahen. Here's a list of what an avel is prohibited to do. Aser b'melacha, he can't work. Urvachitza, he cannot wash. Besicha, anoint with oil. B'tash b'shamita, relations. Nilas a sandal, wearing leather shoes. Aser likros pator v'neviim aksuvim. You can't study Torah. V'lishanus b'mishnah, you can't study Mishnah. B'midrash halachos of the Talmud v'agodas, you can't study Midrashim and Gemara. But if he teaches publicly and the public needs him to teach, Ein on nimna, he doesn't hold back from teaching. Umaisa umeis b'nosh Rabbi Yossi b'tzi poiri. Rabbi Yossi b'tzi lost his son. V'nichlas l'beis hamidrash v'darsh kol yom kulo. And he came to the yeshiva and he darshan the whole day. Because the rabbim were tzrichim lo. Rabbi Baruch Hana Isrei b'milsa. He became an ovel. Sofer lo mefik lepirka. He wasn't going to go give the drush. Amalei Rab Chaninim, how you rabbim tzrich lo and nimna. But the halacha is if the public needs him, then you have to teach. That's how the Shulchan Aruch Yordei paskins as well. Sofer lukma moirale. He wanted to appoint a translator. Amalei Rav Tanya. Uvevad shel yamid turgaman. But you should make a shinui. You shouldn't do it with a normal turgaman. Well, Elahechi Avid, if they don't understand him, how can he give us shir? Ki haditanya ma'asu meis not Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi. V'nichlas the base of Midrash, he went into the yeshiva. V'nichlas Rav Chananya ben Akavya v'yasha b'tzido. Rav Chananya sat next to him. V'lach hashul Rav Chananya ben Akavya. It was like a meturgaman to a meturgaman. You can't do it directly. It has to be a shinui. Rav Chananya ben Akavya l'turgaman v'turgaman ishmael rabim, and that's permitted. Ton Rabbanon. Avel shlosha yomim arishonim asur laniach tefillin. First 3 days, you don't put on tefillin. B'shlishi ve'elach u'shlishi b'chlal, and the third day is part of that mutar laniach tefillin. So according to Tanakama, you don't put on tefillin the first 2 days. V'imbo parim chadoshois ein a choletz. If new people came to console him, then he takes off his tefillin, on the other days. Or, biyom sheni, says Rashi. If new people came on the second day, he takes off his tefillin, even though he was given permit. He was in bo ponim chadoshes and a choletz. Rashi says biyom sheni choletz tefillin. He should take off his tefillin. Excuse me. Rabbi Yeshua Aimer Avel Shnei Yomim Rishonim Asur Laniach Tefillin. Misheni v'Sheni B'chlal Mutar Laniach Tefillin. So Rabbi Yeshua Asur is only the first day. V'Imbao Panim Chadoshos. That's what Rashi is talking about. If he's put on tefillin on the second day and new people came who hadn't been there before, he takes off the tefillin on the second day. Rav Master, my time in Rabbi Eliezer. According to Rabbi Yeshua, it's only 1 day of not putting on tefillin. According to Rabbi Eliezer, it's 2 days. So where do you get 2 days? Because it says that the days of the Avelis of Moshe Rabbeinu came to an end. And the minimum plural, Yemei, is 2. My time of Rabbi Yeshua. Ravena, my time of Rabbi Yeshua. D'chsiv, V'achrisa ki yomar, it's bitter like the day of death is like bitter. And it's only kiyom, 1 day. So 1 day, it's usher to put on tefillin. Rabbi Yeshua nami aksi vayitmu yemei. What does he do with the yemei? On the lach. Shani Moshe to talk lately. The death of Moshe was a very strong avelus. Rabbi Eliezer nami aksi v'achrisa ki yomar. Ikam rirachad yomu. He doesn't disagree that the most bitter part of the Avelis is the first day. But he learns from Yemei that you shouldn't put on tefillin for 2 days. Amru halacha Rabbi Eliezer b'chlitza. The halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer by chlitza, taking off the tefillin. Shibau panim chadoshes b'shlishi ein a choletz. That if he was wearing tefillin on the third day, you do not do chlitza. And Allah is like Rabbi Yeshua by putting it on, that you can put on tefillin on the second day, but now only on the first day you're prohibited. According to Ula, choletz or ein choletz. We're talking about on the third day. We said Allah is Rabbi Eliezer, where we said clearly on the third day you're not. What about the Sheni? What about the second day according to Ula? Do you choletz or do you not choletz? Toshma Omer Ulechoylet Meniach Afilu Mea Ponim. If Ponim Chadashos come, you take them off, then you put them on again. And then if Ponim Chadashos come, you take them off again, even 100 times. Tainamach Yehuda ben Tema Omer Choylet Meniach Afilu Mea Ponim. Rav Omer Kivin She'aniach Shuv Choylet. He says once you put on tefillin, you don't take them off. I Rav Udomer Halacha Ketana Didon the Omar Shloisha. Our Tana said that for 3 days, mitzvah shiny. Since it's a mitzvah laniach tefillin, you can put it on already in the second day. Torah Rabbanan. Avel shlosh yomim rishonim asur b'melacha. First 3 days, can't do any melacha. Afilu ani misparis b'nat staka, even an ani, nobody can work. From the 4th day on, you can work privately in your home. She can weave on this makeshift loom. In Ovel, the first 3 days doesn't go menachem other avelim. After the 3rd day, he can go to another Ovel's house. But he should sit with the other avelim in that house. In the halacha is that an Ovel 3 day for the first 3 days does not go to a levaya. After the 3rd day, in his neighborhood, he can go to a levaya, and he can go to another base of Ovel. But he should sit with the other avelim. Yeah, he sits. Aval eina yoshev sham b'mokam hamanachamim. You don't sit with the other comforters, but you sit with the misnachamim, with the people who need nichum. However, kosovar ramah ki biyameinu noagim shena evil yotz mebesu kol shiva afilu mokam avelos. The Ashkenazic opinion is that avelim do not leave their house for 7 days, even to go to another base of avel. Rabbanan. Avel short yom rishonim asur b'sheila shalom. You don't say shalom aleichem. You don't return it. If he says shalom to you, don't respond. If someone says shalom to him, he can say back aleichem shalom. But he doesn't ask. Now, after Sheva, mikan ve'elach shalom meshiv kedarko. He can say shalom aleichem to whoever he wants. So it says, Shlosh Yomim Rishonim Asur B'Sheila Shalom. Latanya. Ma'asu Mesu Banash Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva lost his sons. Nichnasu Kol Yisrael V'Yispidu Me'esped Gadol. Gam Shklal Yisrael came and were maspid. Mishas Ptiros and Rabbi Akiva Al Safsal Gadol V'Omar. When Klal Yisrael left, he stood on a bench and declared, Achenu Beis Yisrael Shimu. Afilu Shtei Bonim Chasonim Menuchamu B'Shvil Kovet Shasisem. The sons, even if they were chasanim, the fact that you guys came and were menachem me, I'm menuchem because of the covet you did. B'shvil akiva batem, harei kama akiva bashuk. There's other akivas. Elakach amarta, toiras elokav belibo. You were machabed Rabbi Akiva's Torah. The kol sheken shescharchem kaful. So you have a double reward. And he gave them shalom. It's in the first few days. And for the kvod rabbim shiny, the covet of the rabbim is different, and therefore he could say it. Then it said, from the 3rd to the 7th day, he can respond if someone says shalom aleichem to him. And mikan velech after Shiva, shoyel umeshiv kedarko. Verminu, Amotzis Chavero, Ovel, you meet your friend who's an Ovel, but if it's B'toch Shloshim Yom, within 30 days of the maze, Medabri Motan Chumim, you can speak to him Divrei Nechumim, and Ve'enu Shol B'Shlomo. You don't ask Shalom Aleichem. I thought we said before, after 7 days, you can ask. Lachar Shloshim Yom Shol B'Shlomo. After 30 days, you can say Shalom Aleichem. Ve'enu Medabri Motan Chumim. You don't remind him about the maze. Mesa Ishtov V'Nasa Isha Cheres. if the person had lost his wife and he had married someone else, he should not go into the house and talk about the old wife. Matzo b'shuk, if he meets up with him in the market, oimer lo b'safa rava u'b'kovid roish. You can give him divrei tanchumim about his wife in the market. But you see, there's Isser Sheila Shalom even the whole 30 days, not just the Shiva. Aravidi Baravin, who shoel b'shalom acherim. That means the first brisa, which said it was permitted, is talking about the Avel, that after 7 days he can ask Shalom to other people. Sha'acherim shurim b'shalom, because the acherim don't have a problem. But acherim ain't shoalim b'shalom, but other people don't ask him Shalom aleichem. Shehu ain't a shor b'shalom, because he's not b'shalom, he's at a mace. The Gemara of Ahmediktani Meishiv. Well, from the fact that you said that after Shiva he can respond, Michlal de Shalinam lei, must be that they can say Shalom Aleichem to him. We're talking about a case to Lo Yodi. He can be Meishiv, they didn't know he was another. He said Shalom Aleichem, so als manners you can respond. So Iach Yosem Nami. So maybe in the Shloisha Yomim Arishonim, that if they ask him, he should be able to be Meishiv. Within the 3 days, he says, I'm an Avel. He announces to them. And he does not machzir shalom if they say shalom to him. But after 7 days, lo tzarech lo di uhu. After 3 days, you don't have to inform them that he's an Avel. You respond, you're Meshiv Shalom. I'll ask you another kasha. Amotzis chaver Avel, you find your friend, b'tok 12 chodesh, 10 months after you see him, you haven't seen him for 10 months after the mace. B'dabri mor tanchumim, you can be comforting him. Ve'en shol b'shlom, you don't say shalom aleichem. Lachar 12 chodesh, shol b'shlomo. You can say shalom aleichem, ve'en b'dabri mor tanchumim, but you don't remind him of the catastrophe prior to the 12 months. Aval medaberi momanat sad. You bring it up sort of indirectly, without saying the name of the mace. He says you can talk. No, somebody who after 12 months meets up with somebody and talks about the mace. Person broke his leg and it healed. And then the doctor meets up with him and says, Klachetzli, come to my office, Shani Shoivra, I'll break it, Varpaena, and then I'll heal you. That I know what I'm doing. Anyways, comes out from this Baraisa that even up till 12 months, you don't say Shalom Aleichem to the person. Like Kasha Haba Avi V'imo. So, my father and mother, it extends for 12 months. But the other din that after a Shiva, then you can ask Shalom Aleichem, that's Bishar Kroiv. So the Gemara says, so after Shloishim, you should also only talk about comforting things not directly. How come after Shloishim, you don't talk to him Tanchum at all? What says Enachanami? You do talk to him minat sad. But you can bring it up minat sad. Ton Rabbanon. All the Shosh Yomim Rishon Babi Malkam Karov. So a person was not there when the mace died. And then he travels. He came from San Jose to Los Angeles. So Mona Imahem, he joins their Shiva and their count. And he gets up with them when they get up. Bami Makam Rachok. He comes from a far place, Moina La'atzmo. He counts his own count from when he first heard about the death. Even if he comes on the 7th day from a close place, he counts with them. Amar Mar. So we analyze. It's only in the first 3 days. that they said that if he came from a close place, he counts with them. That's as long if you found the leader of the house, then you count with him, with the Avelim and the Bayis. And the one who came is like younger. But if he was the Gadol who came from outside, he came within 3 days, so he counts himself. Rashi says, so the Shulchan Aruch says, if you meet your friend within 30 days, you can comfort him. But we don't say Shalom Aleichem. After 30 days, you can say Shalom Aleichem. You say you should be comforted without mentioning the name of the mace. Someone whose wife died and he married another wife, you don't go into his house to be menachem him. If you find him in the market, you can say tisnachem. If he didn't marry another wife, then you can talk to him about tanchumim until 3 yontifs. Someone whose father and mother passed away, and you meet up with someone like that, you can give him nichum up until 12 months. After 12 months, you can give him nichum without mentioning the name. Then it says like this: Misha meis lo meis, v'lo yodat shegila mokam avelim. He didn't know until he came to the place where the shiva was. If he came from a close place, what's considered a close place? Mahalach eser parsos. As long as you can, Makam Korov means you can get there in 1 day, even with modern transport. Now, afilu higia b'yom hashvi lo avel, even he came on the 7th day, as long as there were comforters, comforting the Gadol Habayis, afilu for ninaru menachem, even if someone's starting to stand up, I raise him mitzarf from shtar avelim, he can mitzarf with the avelim, and ve'enot tzarich limno, she doesn't have to count a new 7. He does moinish shloishim kemoisam. Now, if when he arrives to this house, lo matzah menachmim, then he has to count his own shiva. And the same din, counting your own shiva, if he came from a far place, beyond 1 day. If he came on the 2nd day, he has to start a new count of shiva. Okay.
Go ahead, honey.
Tomorrow we'll learn a 7:30.